Hello and welcome to another Friday video. My name is Justin, and if you're new here, I make weekly videos where I go through my budgeting process. This week is a pay week, so the 19/24/29, that is my paycheck for the last 2 weeks. I don't have any supplemental income, any extra income. Every so often, every couple months, I will take a week or two off from donating plasma, and it won't be any surprise to anybody, but I haven't mustered up the energy and courage to go and drive rideshare. But that is probably going to have to change because Kyle from I Suck at Budgeting put a challenge out there to see who can pay off their car first. So over the last couple months, I've been watching him, and he's talked about being close to paying off his Jeep in July or by July. Over the last couple weeks, I've been kind of projecting out getting my car paid off around July-ish. So the race is on. In the comments, put down who you think is going to win. Is it going to be me? Is it going to be Kyle? But in order for me to do that, I definitely do need to get rideshare done. I've been fortunate enough to not have to do it, but I think I'm at that point to where if I don't do it, I won't meet that goal of getting my car paid off in July, or certainly by the end of August. Before we get into allocating my paycheck, I do have a couple things I added to my wish farm. This Microsoft 365, I normally purchase the one-time deal, meaning you purchase like $100 or $150 and you get that software, and that's basically it. Meaning there's no upgrades, there's no improvements. So if Microsoft adds formulas, you don't get them. So I have Microsoft Office 2019. And so there's a lot of formulas and features that have been implemented by Microsoft since then that I can't take advantage of in my current software version. And so rather than paying another one-time fee for I think the most recent version is 2022 or maybe 2024, I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go for Microsoft 365 and just do the annual subscription. That way I can keep all of my formulas up to date. And also Microsoft 365 subscription gives you access to software that you don't get in the one-time purchase. So currently I have Word, PowerPoint, Teams, and Excel. I am toying with the idea of starting a database to house all of my financial data. That way, if when you transition between budgeting software, you kind of lose access to that data unless you export it. And when you export it, it exports it in its own version, its own structure that's different from other softwares. And so if I put all of my financial data into a database, I can control how it's structured. I can also control my access to it beyond having a software. And so it'll give me a little bit more control. And Microsoft has Microsoft Access, which is a way to create databases. So I've thought about testing that to see if that's a route I go. I can also create SQL databases, not with Access, but with another software that I have through Microsoft. So yeah, that's why I want to get Microsoft 365. It's going to cost $100. I need to consider budgeting for that at some point. And then I also added slippers. So I don't think I've ever owned a pair of slippers before, but I'm getting tired of wearing socks around the house. I have a backyard, like a decent sized backyard for an apartment, but there's rocks. So I live in the desert. We don't have grass. So I have rocks, which when I go out there, if I'm wearing socks, then I have to put shoes on or put my flip flops on or something like that. Whereas if I had slippers, then I could just slip the slippers on and just go outside. Also, slippers keep your feet warmer than socks, I think. And so I don't know where to get slippers. Like I said, I've never owned a pair, I've never purchased a pair. I just know that Walmart, which I know has slippers, has a terrible selection of just about anything shoes related. So in the comments, if you have suggestions of where I can get slippers, let me know. I think I'm gonna get slippers in the next week or two. So if you have suggestions, let me know. Other than that, I think I think that's all the budget changes I've made. The only other final housekeeping thing before we get into budgeting my money is I've been projecting my finances through May, and it looks like I don't need to. It looks like I probably won't need to purchase my May rent on my credit card to get my bonus amount. So I have to spend $4,000 by June 10th in order to get the 75,000 miles from the card. I was thinking I was going to need to purchase 2 months worth of rent on the card. But I don't think that's the case anymore. So with that said, I won't need to factor in a service fee. I will just need to budget the amount of money that is going to cost to cover my rent without any service fee. So with that said, let's go into May. The first thing I always do is budget my month ahead rent. That way it's available on the first when the month rolls over. So I've already set aside $965, which is half of what I budget. I also know how much my rent is going to be now. And so in order to make up the difference, I only need to add $932.05. So my rent this upcoming month for May is $1897.05. So when May rolls around, I'm going to snooze that goal because I don't need to cover this extra $30. So that is all I'm going to take care of in May. For now, let's go back to April because there are a few things I need to cover. The only underfunded amount that I have for target wise is gas. I don't think I'm going to need to spend money on gas this month, but in case I do start rideshare early, I do want to have money set aside that will more than likely just roll over to cover gas. I do want to, in the month of April, take care of my every paycheck items. So I'm gonna set aside $25 for, okay, so household $25, dog food plus 50, and then discretionary. All right. So I think that is everything that I need to take care of for the month of April, which means now everything I take care of with the rest of this money is going to be in May. So for the rest of the $817 that I have available, I definitely need to prioritize bills that I need to pay before the 7th when I get paid again. So that's going to be my storage unit. I need to pay my storage unit. Groceries. So for groceries this month, the month of April, remember I changed the frequency of grocery shopping to see if I could limit the amount of times that I'm going to restaurants to eat. And I've only gone to a restaurant twice this month. I think I've spent $30. Normally, the past few months, I've been spending $80 to $100. So I've certainly limited the amount of money that I'm spending dining out. But even though it worked, I am not enjoying grocery shopping multiple times a month. So what I'm going to do for the month of May, I'm going to go back to just grocery shopping once for the whole month. But now I know the food that I ate in April kept me away from dining out as much. And so I'm going to focus on getting the right types of food that I'm interested in eating and getting more of them rather than the things that I'm not interested in eating. Additionally, because I just went grocery shopping and the food that I bought and the food that I had left over is going to carry me through probably a good portion of May, maybe like half the month. I don't need to fully fund $200 for groceries for the month of May. I think I'm going to hold off on funding groceries until I get paid the 7th. I think then I'll know about how much I'll need to budget for. I'll know how much food I have left at that point and how much food I need to get through the rest of May. And so I'm going to skip funding groceries for that reason. And then starting June, definitely starting June, on the 1st of every month, I'll go grocery shopping for the full $200. I don't need to take care of power. I do want to fund these. So all of my sinking fund items are funded. I don't need car maintenance. Already set aside 50 for, already set aside 50. Already paid my car bill. I don't need to do anything with that. So now I have a decision to make. I have $662 left. I can, and I think I ask myself this question every time. Do I want to fund as many bills as I can for the upcoming month? Or do I want to put this all towards my car fund? And I think normally the second paycheck of the month, use it to see how far into the month I can fund, just in case something happens. I'll at least have a good portion of the upcoming month paid. So I've already paid rent, I've already paid storage. So I'll go ahead and fund these. So now all of my routine bills and all of my sinking fund items are funded. Let's look at underfunded. Rent is good. I don't need to take care of any of those. I don't need to fund my car. I can do that. I can pick either paycheck in May to fund. So the only thing would be power. So now I have to decide, do I want to fund power or do I want to fund the wish list items? So I think I do want to do, at the very least, Microsoft. And then, actually, you know what? I don't want to do that in, I'll fund this April. And if I don't purchase it in April, I have it roll over, but more than likely I will purchase the item. And then I don't know how much slippers are. So I'll put 50. I'll put $50 in for slippers, and whatever suggestions you have, I'll take a look at. And I don't think I need to spend more than $50. Slippers. So that means I now have $150. $150 left. And I had utilities. So if I fund utilities, then that means in my next paycheck I'll have more to go towards. Ooh, what am I doing? So I'll fund the 110, then this extra $40. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this an even even 100. I'm inclined to just throw the rest of this. I think I'm just gonna throw it in extra card. I don't normally put small amounts like this, but I'm gonna do it this. Cool. So that is all of my money funded. We funded everything in April. We funded everything but $700 in May. And these are just the targeted items. So yeah, I am happy with that allocation. But as always, I reserve the right to shift things around off camera if I need to. Lord knows I've done that a time or two. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video next week.